Imagine waking up in a world with no fridge, no freezer, no Uber Eats. Your pantry's empty, winter's coming, and the nearest grocery store is non-existent. Welcome to the medieval kitchen, where survival wasn't just about cooking, it was about engineering food to last. These kitchens didn't have stainless steel appliances or temperature-controlled storage. They had smoke, salt, snow, and a whole lot of creativity. And somehow they made it work. Today, we're diving into the wild, brilliant, and sometimes hilarious ways medieval people preserved food, from smoked cheese to honey-soaked birds. Buckle up. It's going to smell like bacon and vinegar. Salt wasn't just seasoning, it was currency. Literally. Roman soldiers got paid in it. In medieval Europe, salt was so valuable that villages traded livestock for a few sacks. Because salt could turn fresh meat into shelf-stable survival food. The process was brutal. Meat was rubbed with so much salt it looked like it had survived a snowstorm. Fish were layered in barrels like salty lasagna. Even vegetables got the treatment. Cabbage became sauerkraut, not because it was trendy, but because it wouldn't rot. Salt pulled moisture out, stopped bacteria cold, and turned food into medieval jerky. Expensive? Effective? Absolutely. But when salt ran low, they had a smoky backup plan. Medieval kitchens were smoky, not because they liked the vibe, but because smoke was a preservation tool. Meats were hung in chimneys, rafters, and even dedicated smokehouses. The smoke coated the food, added flavor, and kept bugs away. They didn't just toss wood on the fire. They curated it. Oak for beef, applewood for pork, cherry for poultry. It was like a medieval spice rack, but made of trees. Cheese got smoked. Grains got smoked. Eggs got smoked. Somewhere in history, a chicken laid an egg and someone said, "Let's hang this over a fire." And it worked. Wealthy homes had multi-level smoke towers. Light smoke on top, heavy smoke near the fire. It was like a parking garage for bacon. When smoke wasn't enough, they turned to nature's freezer. Snow and ice were collected like treasure. Rich nobles built underground ice houses, thick-walled bunkers that could store 75 tons of ice. That's enough to chill a medieval army's worth of ale. Servants packed sawdust between ice layers for insulation. Some ice houses kept things frozen for 2 years. That's longer than most leftovers survive in modern fridges. Poorer folks used caves and cellars. Monasteries built artificial caves just to store wine and cheese. And during winter feasts, food was packed in snow. They even served frozen desserts, medieval snow cones flavored with honey. Just don't eat the yellow snow. That joke's older than you think. Drying wasn't just practical, it was beautiful. Kitchens turned into food museums. Herbs hung upside down like leafy chandeliers. Fruits dangled from ropes like edible garlands. Meat was sliced thin and dried until it snapped like medieval beef chips. They built drying towers with open sides to let air flow through. One tower in France could dry over 2,000 pounds of fruit. Locals called them fruit castles. Honestly, that's a better name than food dehydrator. Fish were flattened and dried until they resembled roof tiles. Norwegian sailors used them as plates. That's not a joke, that's efficiency. Armies loved dried food. A whole cow could be dried down to backpack size. Medieval logistics were wild. Fermentation was everywhere. Barrels of bubbling cabbage, pickled eggs, and vinegar-soaked fish lined the walls. Medieval cooks didn't fear spoilage, they weaponized it. Good bacteria fought off the bad. Sauerkraut delivered vitamin C and kept scurvy away. Monks tracked fermentation experiments like scientists. One monastery pickled 15,000 eggs in a year. Brother John's job? Egg pickler. His hands probably smelled like vinegar forever. Fermented foods got better with age. Some families passed down barrels like heirlooms. Son, this is your great-grandfather's pickled turnip. Add vinegar and carry on. Even hospitals used fermented vegetable juice as medicine. Got a cold? Try pickled radish. Broken bone? Maybe fermented cabbage juice. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than nothing. Honey doesn't spoil. Scientists found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs, still edible. Medieval cooks knew this and used honey to preserve everything: fruits, meats, even birds. One recipe preserved a whole peacock in honey. Because chicken wasn't fancy enough. Beekeepers were VIPs. Some got paid more than the cook. Castles had honey rooms, warm, sticky spaces where preserved foods lined the walls. Spring cleaning meant scraping honey off everything. To test purity, they dropped feathers into honey. If it sank too fast, the honey was too watery. If it floated, dinner was safe. Honey wasn't just food, it was medicine. Cuts? Honey salve. Sleeplessness? Honey and warm milk. Bubonic plague? They tried. When all else failed, they drowned food in booze. Wine and beer killed bacteria and kept food cheerful. Fruits soaked in spiced wine became drunken fruits, medieval cocktail garnishes. They were sweet, potent, and reportedly made you twice as merry. Eggs were cracked into barrels of wine. Taverns served them as snacks. One merchant ate 3 on a bet and started singing in Latin. He didn't know Latin. Nobles layered fruits in jars with different wines to create striped patterns. It was medieval Instagram, edible and aesthetic. Stronger alcohol worked better, so distillation became a thing. No, my lord, this isn't moonshine. It's for preserving pears. Sure it was. 7 methods. One goal, survival. Medieval kitchens didn't have tech, they had technique. Salt pulled moisture. Smoke built barriers. Ice bent seasons. Drying shrank abundance. Fermentation fought decay. Honey sealed freshness. Alcohol added flavor and longevity. They didn't just preserve food, they preserved life. And they did it with style, science, and a little bit of madness. Next time you open your fridge, remember the smoky rafters, the sticky honey rooms, and the monks who pickled eggs like it was holy work. You're living in the future, but your food still owes everything to the past.